I got around to mopping my mechanic bay. So this is my working bay that I would do all my automotive work, but I also use this bay for doing such things as big glue ups on woodworking projects, because I just have the room. I try and keep this open just in case the car breaks down. You don't want to have to move everything out of the way. But I just did a mess job. I had oil and I had brake fluid and antifreeze all over it. So I just wanted to really kind of give it a mop up, and it's January and 60, so I figured today's a good day to do that. Just to give you an idea of how dirty it is or was. This is kind of what you're looking at. I mean, look at the dirt. So it's clear that I do not maintain this. I do not, you know, kind of baby it. And, you know, this isn't my showpiece. This is just to protect the concrete. So this was the epoxy dash coat system that I put down about 4 years ago. You can see some things that have happened, such as leaving a tube of caulk behind my truck tire and then backing up over it. Someday I'll scrape that off, and it should hopefully come up. You can see paint that you know, easily enough that'll pop right off if I ever care enough to do it. But really what I wanted to show you was kind of the overall look. This is a little wet right now, but this is just about as bright and reflective as it is all the time. You can see the difference between doing this yourself and having a pro do it, is you can see the differences in all the flake. I think if I go back here, you'll actually see it very clearly, where I was doing this by myself and I had two different sections that I rolled out and did flake, and the color is off drastically. So this was kind of what I was going for. And then as you go section to section to section, it makes some difference. For my results, it works fine. But these are the real kind of what you're gonna see kind of as you use your garage for welding, automotive, all that type of stuff. You can see right on top of my finger right there, there's a blemish. That's in the top coat, and that is just from spinning the tires, trying to get it into the garage, and it was hung up on the lip. You can see this mark right here. That is from a solvent, I believe. They kind of wore through the top coat. If you look through, then you see kind of it's all bumpy. I can't get a good. If it doesn't look like glass, that's because I used double the amount of texture granules in this entire bay, so that I can work in the wintertime and not worry about falling and breaking my leg. You can see there, and you can barely see it going across there. Those are the joints that I cut and then filled, and then epoxied over them. They haven't opened up at all, so I've been lucky. You can see, I think here, then you can see just the little cross where the sections meet. But some close-ups, like I said, like you might not be able to see well with the sun. There's some garbage still here, but this here, these black marks, I believe those were things that I dropped, like glue, and I just didn't get them up. I suppose I could try, but this is what's going to happen if you put a what do you call it, a jack down and try and jack up. Either that or this was from the jack stand. So you can see how it'll basically chip out right down to the concrete. It's still adhered very well. And over here, see this? Sorry, it's windy. But this basically is what's going to happen. I wish I could show you. I dropped a bottle jack on the other side, and it took a huge divot out of it, which I was actually surprised it came that much. Some of these right here, you can see where there's multiple together, like this one, this one, this one. These are what I see basically by doing welding. So these are slag that falls and then basically either burns through or eventually when I mop it or sweep it or go over it, it'll come up. So that's some more glue and some more chips. So again, overall, really not that bad. As far as my goal of protecting the concrete, I mean, what, 99% is still protected. If I really care that much, I could touch up the little areas like that are chipped out. Perhaps a more professional installation, or rather product, because I think I did a pretty good job in the installation, but the product, the thicker, like an aircraft type one, might not chip as much. But for my project and my budget, this is what I did. It's still 4 years later, I think in decent quality, where I really don't have to resurface it or do anything else to it. So just wanted to kind of have some questions on some, you know, real life, what does it look like after you've used it for welding and all that. And I think that if you are going to use an area like this for heavy welding where you have a lot of slag falling off of it, I would definitely put something underneath it, like wood or a piece of steel or, you know, metal or something like that when you're using it, because that's probably that, and then dropping heavy things from 4 feet high are what really kind of destroys the surface. So there you go, guys. Thanks.